Welcome to Sunday School. It's November 22nd, Christ the King Sunday. Serena will read Sheep and Goats from the Spark Story Bible. Follow along on page 318.
Sheep and goats. Jesus told his disciples that they were like sheep when they cared for each other, and Jesus was their shepherd. They would be like goats if they didn't listen and didn't care. He said, "Do you remember when you fed the woman who was hungry?" "Yes," they replied. "Do you remember when you visited the old man in prison?" he asked. "Oh yes, he was lonely," they answered. "Do you remember when you gave clothing to children who didn't have anything to wear?" Jesus asked. "Yes, they were very cold," they remembered. "Every time you care for someone, it is like you are caring for me too," Jesus explained. "God will welcome you into the kingdom of heaven." The disciples wanted to be like sheep. They knew they would be welcome in heaven. Here's Squiggles, and the caption asks, how would you feel if you were hungry and somebody gave you something to eat?
Ayla will read Matthew chapter 25, verses 31 through 46 in the Spark Bible. Follow along on page 1091.
Hi, I am going to be reading Matthew 31 through 46. When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, then he will sit on the throne of his glory. All of the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will put the sheep at his right hand and the goats at the left. Then the king will say to those at his right hand, Come, you that are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you food, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? And when was it that we saw you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and gave you clothing? And when was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you?" And the king will answer them, "Truly I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least, these who are members of my family, you did it to me." Then he will say to those at his left hand, "You are accursed, depart from me into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not welcome me. Naked, and you did not give me clothing. Sick and in prison, and you did not visit me." Then they will also answer, "Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry or thirsty, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not take care of you?" Then he will answer them, "Truly I tell you, just as you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me." And these will go away into the eternal punishment, but the righteousness into eternal life. And the note box says, how did Jesus say the people would be divided?
Get your faith formation box and meet me by the fireplace.